privilegio de darle la palabra a un gran amigo mío, que es muchas cosas, pero aparte también lleva el apellido de un presidente bajo el que no había ni un preso político en Brasil, ni un preso político, y hoy hablamos de cifras de 1.800 presos políticos, ya más presos que en algunas de las dictaduras consolidadas. En ese momento voy a dar la palabra a Eduardo Bolsonaro, que es un gran amigo nuestro y que es uno de los arietes de esta lucha por la libertad. Muchas gracias, Eduardo.
Gracias. Hope this is a Brazilian coffee. Other way I will call you as xenophobic. No, I'm not from the left. Thank you very much for having us here. Herman, Rob, you are really allies. You are doing a lot for us. Sometimes people do not realize how important it is we come to a place like this here and talk to all of not only Europe, but mainly Western Hemisphere about what is going on in Brazil. If this voice was not so important, for sure our enemies would not be right now trying to shut up us. And I will enjoy here the audience that we have from people from Hungary, from Greece, from Spain, from France, from other countries around here, from Portugal, Netherlands. And I will do a very quick formal documenting video, a registration about what is going in Brazil, talking some facts, talking about some names, to make sure that if you want to do a research in the future, you can Google it and see that everything that I'm talking here is not coming from my mind, but even the mainstream media in Brazil, sometimes they put in the news what I'm going to talk here. I could talk here about several cases. I would just tell you 3 or 4 about the worst things that happened in Brazil. As Congressman Bia Kicis said, a former teacher of 71 years old, Miss Iraci Nagoshi, who had never set a foot in the police station, being sentenced to 14 years in prison for allegedly participation in January 8 vandalism. I would like to highlight here that January 8, it was pretty much what you saw in January 6 in the United States. But the Brazilians that are now in jail, sometimes they were even not in the place where happened all of that. I have to tell you that some people that are taking now 15, 16, 7 years jail sentenced, they were camped kilometers, like 8 or 9 kilometers far away from the 3-power square where stays the presidents of the Republic, the Congress, and the Supreme Court. Also, Gustavo Gayer and also Bia Kicis talked about Clériston Pereira da Cunha, nicknamed Clezão, who died in prison after waited for months to be released from prison, even with the legal opinion of the DA. So the DA said, this guy is sickness. He has a very hard sickness. He would go back to home, answer the court, but at home, not in prison, because he's going to die. And now he's dead. Isn't it a human rights crime? And Alexandre de Moraes, this Supreme Court justice, he did even not take a look in the process for months. I also could talk here about the arrest of the Congressman Daniel Silveira. This is one of the most horrible things. Sentenced by the Supreme Court to almost 9 years in jail for having made a video criticizing justice from the Supreme Court. Daniel Silveira received a presidential pardon from President Bolsonaro. Listen, this congressman was in jail. President Bolsonaro at that time, he was president, Ms. Gall. He said, here's the presidential pardon. And we saw, Julia Zanata, in several cases, drug dealers, murders, all the bad kind of people receiving this kind of thing from presidents. Always they went back home. But Daniel Silveira, when Jair Bolsonaro did not get reelected, the Supreme Court overturned the presidential pardon for the first time in the history of Brazil. And now, this guy, a congressman just like me, Biaquices, Gustavo Gayer, Ricardo Salles, Polon, Julia Zanata, now he's in jail because of video, okay? Because of video. There is also the journalist Alan dos Santos, who Alexandre de Moraes tried to extradite, but was refused by the American authorities, who understood that the accusations against the journalist were not crimes, but mere opinions. After this, Alexandre de Moraes canceled not only Alan dos Santos' Brazilian passport, as well as that other journalists critical of the Supreme Court, such as Paulo Figueiredo and Rodrigo Constantino. At least Paulo Figueiredo says he was never even named in the process to be able to defend himself. I know it's crazy. Né? Today, all these journalists lives in the United States. So, Alexandre de Moraes canceled his passport, and he's like, what did I receive at home, like saying that I have a process in the court? Nothing. Talking about journalists, we have here a European journalist, Sérgio Tavares, who was detained in the São Paulo airport when was arriving to cover a Brazilian protest in favor of Jair Bolsonaro. And the federal police, when detained Mr. Sérgio Tavares, asked him about vaccines, about his opinions in the Supreme Court. But coincidentally, he interviewed President Bolsonaro 2 weeks before. Is it a democracy? In your countries, do sometimes journalists go there to cover some facts and the federal police stop them in the airport? Oh, I would like to know your opinion about vaccines. What's your opinion about this justice of the Supreme Court? We are not far away from Venezuela. And it took us what? Less than 2 years? Lula da Silva administration, they have 1.5 years now. In less than 2 years, this is my country. And it reminds me, Gayer, when I talk with our Venezuelan friends, they always warned us, as very good words used here by Mr. Bouchardé. Be careful. We never imagined, Ricardo Salles, that it would happen with Venezuela, and it happened. Yesterday was Venezuela. Today is happening in Brazil. Maybe tomorrow in Spain, in Netherlands, in Portugal. I don't know. In Brazil, we even have a kind of a joke, but a serious joke, saying that a crime that have the highest rate of punishment is criticizing the Supreme Court. If we go to the streets, get a pistol, a knife, whatever, and we kill someone on the streets, I guarantee to you, you will not take 15, 16, 7 years in jail. Never, ever. Going on about the Twitter, this mission to bring light to the events taking place in Brazil occurs at the exact moment that the Twitter Files Brazil scandal comes to light. I would like to highlight 2 points before of all. First thing is, Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, current X, bought Twitter in October of 2022, during the Brazil's electoral period. So what we are talking here about Elon Musk and Twitter, these things happened during the Brazil election time. Second thing, Alexandre de Moraes, the Supreme Court Justice, he held the position not only to be Justice of the Supreme Court, but also the President of the Superior Electoral Court, which is the body that administrates and judges everything related to the elections in Brazil. In a recent statement, Elon Musk said that Minister Alexandre de Moraes ordered Twitter to block profiles, include those of parliamentarians, without even the right to contradict or broad defense. And he instructed, as Ms. Biaquices here said, he instructed Twitter to do not inform the blocked users that the order came from him. What else can I talk about this? I'll be very honest with you. Elon Musk has to prove what he's talking. And the other congressman, Nicolas Ferreira, the most voted ever congressman in the last election, he asked by Twitter using X, Mr. Eduardo Kader, Elon Musk, could you please provide us more information about what you're talking about? Do you know his answer? I will do that. But first, I have to take out from Brazil my employees because they are threatened to go to jail. This is very serious. I mean, Elon Musk, please, he's not like a Bolsonarist, as part of the media of Brazil is talking now, the Bolsonarist Elon Musk. Or even the Trumpist, because he said by his own that in a couple of years ago, he was used to vote in the Democratic Party. I mean, left wing. So this is not someone from our bubble. This is not someone like a regular guy. He's the most, or one of the most, the richest men in the world talking about it. In response to Musk's recent statements, Alexandre de Moraes decreed a fine of around 17,000 euros per day per each profile that Twitter unblocks. The legacy media in Brazil calls those who unblock profiles as anti-democrats, while the authority that silence people on the internet as the bastions of democracy. This narrative no longer stands up. And things get even worse when you analyze the reasons why these profiles were blocked. The intention is to crush opposition to Lula in Brazil through the unconstitutional use of the Supreme Court. As we are here in a very good environmental, going to the end, Mr. Herman Tesh, I will not read everything that I wrote here. Only to have one idea. One idea. My father, former president of Brazil, he was, like a couple of days ago, he was under investigation. Do you know why, Rob? Because we bought a good car, Mr. Frias, because we are rich, because I'm a millionaire. Oh, the son of Bolsonaro is a millionaire now. He used the influence of his father and earned a lot of money while his father was president. No, because there is a video where Jair Bolsonaro was in a jet ski and he passed by a whale on the sea. Yes, I will repeat again, because I see some faces here that maybe you did not realize what I'm talking about. Jair Bolsonaro was in a jet ski on the sea. There was a whale on the coast of the state of São Paulo. In this video, my friend Herman Tesh, looks like he was 15 meters close of the whale. That's it. This is the crime. 2 to 5 years in jail. But in Brazil, things always, Sérgio Tavares, Lili, Jamili, Marco Antônio Costa. In Brazil, things always can get worse. Do you know who reported this crime for the federal police? The environmental minister of Lula da Silva. The kind of people that go to the COP or sometimes come here together with Lula da Silva to the European Parliament, saying good things about the climate. Oh, I'm worried about what is going on in Amazon. But she has time to stop all of her work, I mean, if she really works, to do this kind of thing. And the first police officer that received this denouncement, he refused to go on with the investigation. But Marina da Silva, the environmental minister of Lula da Silva, she's brave. And she appealed for a second police officer. And this police officer took that. Nowadays, a couple of days ago, this case is no longer under investigation. But my father still has to pay a fine of about 500 euros because other organism called IBAMA is also persecuting him. Not only the police with the environmental minister of Brazil. So going to the end here, one of the practical results that we already have here with the invitation of Mr. Rob and Mr. Herman Tesh is that yesterday, the chairman of the House said that there is no room to withhold the regulation of social media in Brazil. Because everything that is coming up, Mr. Bouchardet, about the Twitter files Brazil, the press noticing that we are here, he said there is no atmosphere to vote the regulation of the social media in Brazil. What is a victory to us? We are very happy with that. And in Brazil, part of the media is starting with a narrative saying that Eduardo Bolsonaro and some other congressmen We are talking with Trump, with Elon Musk, with our friends from Chega and Vox. In this article, in some of the press, they said that I retweeted Santiago Abascal and I retweeted André Ventura. So this is the network of the extreme, far, far, far ultra-right that is attacking the democracy in Brazil. I'm serious. I laugh. At the first point, I laugh. But the second point is the narrative prepare the judicial actions. And they are smart. Every month, at least twice, all of them, I go out to the U.S. Congress, to Argentina, now here to our friends in Belgium, Portugal. I'm going to the CPAC in Hungary. I hope so, inshallah. They can do that, create this narrative that I'm attacking the democracy with my friends here, to send the federal police to our houses and get our passports and take our passports to stop with this work. Because we are taking them out from this comfortable atmosphere. Because one of the things that they love, Mr. Herman Tesh, is travel abroad and talk about democracy and liberty. Be careful. Alexandre de Moraes and some other Supreme Court justices, they go all around the world teaching the good example of Brazil, how did they do to keep the democracy in Brazil. So this is a warning for you, and thank you very, 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 very much about the support and the help that you are doing to Brazil. Thank you.
Muchas